Zap, 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 lightning, zap, zap, lightning, lightning, fade.
Hello everybody, it's me, the LEGO Dude, and in today's video I'll be placing every LEGO Star Wars set released in 2023 from worst to best. The X-Wing Polybag, Lucas Yoda Fountain Set, foil packs, and paper bags will all be excluded from this list, leaving a total of 32 sets. Kicking things off in last place, tied for 32nd, we have the Darth Vader and Stormtrooper mechs, which both cost $16. I very much dislike mechs, and with how expensive they are, if they don't have anything special, they're just not worth buying, which applies to both of these mechs. In 30th place, we have the N1 Starfighter Microfighter, which costs $16. This Microfighter is decent, but with a 60% price increase over past Microfighters, it's ridiculously overpriced. If it cost the normal Microfighter price of $10, it would be quite a few places higher, but at such a high price, it's not worth buying at all. In 29th place, we have the Boba Fett mech for $16. It would be dead last with the other mechs, however, it has a UCS quality Boba Fett minifigure, which pushes it up a couple of places. It's still overpriced, but with such a good minifigure, it deserves to be a couple of places above the other mechs. In 28th place, we have the Slave One Microfighter, which costs $10. It's a solid build for a Microfighter that isn't overpriced, but it's still a Microfighter, so isn't really capable of being an amazing set since it's so small. In 27th place, we have the UCS Chewbacca for $200. Yeah, it's a mostly good build, however, the face looks like it belongs in a horror movie, and for $200, I don't know who would buy it. In 26th place, we have the 4+ Tennu Jedi Temple, which costs $40. It has some unique minifigure designs that are really good, and the build is decent as well, but for $40, it's quite overpriced. Next up in 25th place, we have the Death Star 2 May 4th promotional set. I initially had this set much higher, but then I realized that it's actually not that good. The paneling is a bit strange looking, and the laser has a grass piece for some reason, and a couple of other weird pieces which don't match the same color as the other pieces. In 24th place, we have the Tusken Raider Brickheads for $10. It's a good Brickheads build, however, as a Brickheads, I think it would be unfair to put it higher than a lot of other sets. In 23rd place, we have the 2023 Advent Calendar for $45. It's a decent Advent Calendar, but has some disappointments like the Leia minifigure and the 212th Clone Trooper, which has some wacky helmet prints. In 22nd place, we have the Ahsoka Clone Trooper Battle Pack for $20. The Swamp Speeder build is decent, with the reason for it being so low being the minifigures. The 3 normal Ahsoka Clone Troopers are okay, with the helmet holes being the only sizable flaw on them, however the Captain Vaughn minifigure is not good at all. The only things added in to denote him from the other Ahsoka Clone Troopers were a jetpack print and a small chest print. This is also probably the only time we'll ever get Vaughn in LEGO form, so this being what we got is extremely disappointing. Moving on now, in 21st place, we have the Endor Speeder Chase diorama for $80. I very much dislike the dioramas since they're almost all overpriced, and that applies perfectly to this set. It's overpriced, and on top of that, the trees of the build are mediocre at best, and the Luke and Leia minifigures have quite bad leg printing. Some big positives about it though include the Scout Trooper being amazing as always, the speeder being great, and everything on the forest floor being extremely detailed. In 20th place, we have the Pirate Snub Fighter for $35. It has a good build and a couple of decent minifigures, however for $35 it should have had at least another minifigure, and on top of that the build is also particularly small. In 19th place, we have the Spider Tank, which costs $50. This set is so low on the list because of the price and missed potential. For $50 it's not that big, and connected directly to this is the missed potential. Based off the scene it's from, there should have been the robot that controlled the Spider Tank, the cage machine that the robot trapped the Mandalorian in, and Grogu's Prime, which is a key part in one of the scenes that this set is based off. LEGO made this set based off of concept art, which does give them a bit of an excuse, however that doesn't make this set any less disappointing. In 18th place, we have Yoda's Jedi Starfighter, which costs $35. It's actually quite a bit of an improvement over the last one, with a sturdy build and an actually accurate cockpit piece, however for $35 it's definitely missing at least a minifigure. In 17th place, we have Leia's Bouche helmet for $70, which is a good set, however it's also a bit overpriced, and I personally don't like it that much, which is why it's this low on the list. In 16th place, we have the Coruscant Guard gunship for $140. The build is great, however for $140 it's quite small, and on top of that the stud shooters on the wings and the doors not being double doors are inaccurate. The minifigure selection is mediocre at best, with 4 minifigures being good-ish and the Commander Fox minifigure being horrible. It has quite bad waistcape printing, and the chest print is pink instead of white in person, which is completely unacceptable. In 15th place, we have the Yavin 4 Rebel base for $170, which mostly has problems opposite of the Coruscant Guard gunship. The build is decent at best, but the minifigure selection is absolutely flawless. The build for the Coruscant gunship had some flaws, but on the flip side, for minifigures in this set, the selection is basically flawless, which is why this set is higher on the list. In 14th place, we have the Millennium Falcon Holiday diorama for $30. It's a perfectly good set with no big flaws and nothing particularly amazing that slots in perfectly around the middle of the list. In 13th place, we have the Endor Heroes Brickheads pack for $40. It has a ton of good brickheads, and for $40 it's a fairly priced overpriced set, which you can't say about a lot of sets these days. In 12th place, we have the Commander Cody helmet for $70. It has a great build, but for $70 it's a bit expensive. Likewise, in 11th place is the Captain Rex helmet, which also has a great build but is a bit overpriced. However, I like this helmet set slightly better. Breaking into the top 10 now, in 10th place we have Ahsoka's T6 shuttle. It has an amazing build and minifigures, however the cockpit only being able to fit one minifigure is disappointing, and for $80 it's most definitely overpriced. In 9th place we have the UCS X-Wing for $240. It's an amazing UCS set, however the more expensive a set is, unless it's insanely amazing, I won't put it extremely high on the list since it's not that accessible to most people. In 8th place we have the $650 UCS Venator, which I'm not putting any higher for the same reasons as the UCS X-Wing. In 7th place we have the midi-scale Executor Super Star Destroyer for $70. This set has an absolutely amazing build with little to no flaws. This is probably one of the best display sets that LEGO have released in a long time. Thinking about it more, I probably should have put it higher, and I will in fact push it up to 6th place, meaning that the set that was in 6th is now in 7th, which is a 501st Battle Pack for $20. LEGO photoshopping the helmet holes and antenna on the 501st officer is completely unacceptable, however other than that the helmet holes are a non-issue for the other minifigures because of their visors, and the build is also amazing. In 5th place we have the Emperor's Throne Room diorama for $100. I don't usually like dioramas, and this set is overpriced, but the build is insanely amazing. This is one of those sets with such a good build it basically negates all other factors. In 4th place we have the E-Wing vs Shin Hati Starfighter for $110. It's overpriced, but similar to the Emperor's Throne Room, the build is at the top of top tier, and so are the minifigures, which puts it comfortably in 4th place. Getting started on the podium now, in 3rd place we have the Fangfighter vs TIE Interceptor for $100. I basically have the same opinions on this set as the E-Wing vs Shin Hati Starfighter, however this one is $10 cheaper, which is why it's higher on the list. In 2nd place we have the Ghost and Phantom 2 for $160. This probably deserves to be first since it's an almost flawless set with the best build of the year, however the minifigure selection is a bit lackluster. With how good this set is though, that's just a minor negative. Finally, in 1st place is the best set of 2023, we have the TIE Bomber. This probably deserves to be a little bit lower, but this is personally my favorite set of the year. It's not too expensive and has a flawless build. It maybe could have used one more minifigure, but other than that it's basically perfect. Overall, 2023 was a solid year for LEGO Star Wars, however it's a bit disappointing that LEGO leaned so much into expensive display sets. This year still had a lot of great sets though, and definitely fits in well as one of the better years for LEGO Star Wars. Alright everyone, that is everything for today's video. Tell me your thoughts about my list and the 2023 LEGO Star Wars sets in the comment section down below. What parts of my list do you agree with? What parts do you disagree with? What would your list include? What would your top 3 and your bottom 3 be? And one last thing before you leave, please remember to hit the subscribe button, ring the notifications bell, and leave a like on the video. Bye!